female that has never been in the system, has never been in trouble with the law, nothing more than some traffic tickets prior to even having a driver's license. So imagine this, okay, 2008, November 12th, 2008. I'm married. I just had a baby. My baby's 3 weeks old, and we're having some financial problems, and we was falling behind on our car note. So even though it was a holiday, it was Veterans Day, the dealership was open, and they had been calling saying that I needed to bring the payment like that day, or they were going to come and tow the vehicle. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, that can't happen because we have a family and we need to get around. And prior to me getting this van, we had another car that got towed for, like, I don't remember, it was like expired tags or something like that. I don't quite remember. It was kind of long ago. So I remember getting like 3 or 4 voicemail messages from the dealership. It was getting kind of late in the afternoon, and that last message they left was basically, if we don't get the payment by 7 o'clock, we will be coming to get the van. And I remember that day, because it was a holiday, my other 2 kids were out of school, and at that time they were like 8 years old and 12 years old. So I got a 12-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 3-week-old daughter. And that day I had been doing laundry, preparing dinner, and sipping some red wine pretty much most of the day because I hadn't planned on going anywhere. So after I got that last message, I thought, okay, let me go pay this car note right quick and get on back to the house and finish doing what I'm doing. Under no circumstances did I feel impaired. And I wanted to point out that that is one of the deceiving effects of alcohol. Mind you, prior to me having this wine, I had been pregnant and had not consumed any alcohol for the previous 9 months. So this was a day that I felt like, okay, I can pump and dump, and have my wine, and, you know, my newborn daughter wouldn't be affected by the milk. So I went to pay the car note, which was about I'm gonna say about 10 miles from the West Sac to South Sac. Paid the car note, headed back, almost to the house. Bam! Airbags exploded in my face. Had no idea what had happened. Got out the car, crawled out the car, basically. And long story short, I had a head-on collision with a motorcyclist, and he did not survive. The police arrived on the scene, and they did a sobriety test, which I failed, and then I was hauled off to a holding facility. And it was at that moment that I began to watch my life like it was a Lifetime movie versus me actually living my life. And I remember kept asking the officer, how is that man? How is that man? Because I had gone over to that man, and I can still see him now. His legs were like, just, his body was not in shape. He was in bad shape, and he was moaning. And I began to pray for him, and his girlfriend was there. She was on another motorcycle. They were actually riding side by side in the same lane, and he was closest to the divider line, coming the opposite direction that I was coming. So to this day, I don't know if he crossed the yellow line or if I crossed the yellow line. I do know that I was approaching my street to make a left turn, but before I could do that, the airbags exploded in my face. He didn't survive. I was charged with vehicular manslaughter, and I, you know, by the grace of God, His grace, His mercy, His favor, the support of my friends and my family, and being blessed with an awesome attorney, I did receive 5 years probation, which included 1 year county jail. Now, with that being said, I didn't have money for an attorney. So I had to go to the district attorney office, and I got a DA. And I do remember very clearly that district attorney told me out of his mouth that probation will not be on the table, and that I would be facing a minimum of 16 years state prison. I couldn't even wrap my brain around that. Now, nobody wants to go to jail. Nobody wants to go to prison. I don't care what you do. Nobody just wants to go there. But I had to face the reality that that could be my new reality, and that basically that was going to be my new reality. And when he told me that, I was literally holding my 3-week-old daughter in my arms. And when he told me that, I literally could have just dropped her and fell out on the floor, because I was thinking, wow, I'm leaving to go to prison for 16 years. I'm not gonna even know, this little girl's not even gonna know me. So fast forward to sentencing. At sentencing, the victim's family was there, and I wanted so badly to reach out to them, just to let them know how sorry I was. And, you know, I was so remorseful. I had to give a statement to the judge on sentencing day after hearing the victim's impact statements. It was his one brother and 2 sisters. And they said words to me that I will never forget for the rest of my life. And when I approached the courts to give my statement, I did let them know that, you know, this here is just basically a matter of formality. Whatever sentence that you give me is never going to change anything that has happened. If I could go back and change the hands of time, I would. But I did implore the judge, the bailiffs, and every person in that courtroom that no matter how you think you can beat the deceiving effects of alcohol, and you can drink all day and all night, but when you make the conscious decisions to get behind the wheel of a car, you are basically taking other people's lives, or putting other people's lives in your hand. Nobody likes a drunk driver, especially a drunk driver that kills people. So I had to come to terms with that, and it's still even hard for me to this day to even fathom that I am that statistic. I don't really share this story that often, only if I feel led to share it. People who know me intimately know that story, but just by watching your channel and seeing how authentic you are, and how you just kind of put your vulnerability out there, I feel that it has empowered me to share this, my story, my testimony, because it could help someone else. I know it will help someone else, because when you're living a life, you know, working a blue collar job, and you know, think that you just watching court TV and watching other people's trials, when something happens to you like that, you just look at it a whole different perspective. So I wanted to share that with you, and I want to thank you. And later we could talk about my experience in the county jail. So thanks again.